Good morning, sir. We are live today. I'll first start with those questions that are already asked to us.
Very fine.
Sir, what is exactly core competence?
Good morning, boys and girls. The core competencies which we talk about in No Frills Academy are the very basics of your, personality. What you see written down on websites and all that, and the 15 officer-like qualities, we have moved away from that and brought down the number to a smaller one and two words which are very easily understandable to most people. So let us talk first thing. Core competence would be what kind of reasoning ability a person has. So nothing big deal about it. IQ कैसी है यार, मतलब सोच समझ कैसी है. अब वो IQ ठीक ठाक होगी तो आपकी जो है लैंग्वेज एबिलिटीज, मैथमेटिकल एबिलिटीज, अंडरस्टैंडिंग एबिलिटीज, कम्युनिकेशन की स्किल्स जो हैं वो सब उस पर डिपेंडेंट है, रिलेटेड है. तो ये सबसे बड़ी कोर कॉम्पिटेंस आ गई और इसको इम्प्रूव करने के लिए हमने अपने बुक में लिखा हुआ है. सेकेंड हम स्किल ले लेते हैं, कोर कॉम्पिटेंस पे ले लेते हैं आपका लैंग्वेज. Though it's related to the first quality, but still we can take it as somewhat separated because a lot of people may be quite IQ ठीक ठाक है, but for various reasons they are not able to communicate their thoughts that well orally or in writing. So we can take it as a second core competence. ये आ गया. उसके बाद आपकी जो है फिर आ जाती है फिजिकल फिटनेस. बड़ी सिंपल सी चीज है, दिखाई देती है. नथिंग मच टू एक्सप्लेन इन दैट. फिर आपकी जो है ये जो बेसिक आपकी IQ, लैंग्वेज और इनकी एबिलिटीज थी, उनको कैसे आपने यूज किया और उस चलते हुए आपने कैसे जो थी अपनी एकेडमिक एबिलिटी ठीक ठाक रखी है. So that's the next thing. Once again related to the qualities of reasoning and your language abilities. तो ये आ जाती है. फिर क्वालिटीज आ जाती हैं आपकी कि सोशली आप कैसे हो. आर यू एबल टू गेट अलोंग विद पीपल वेल और नॉट. ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटी है. फिर जो है आप कितने रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं, जिम्मेवार हैं, टर्कआउट टाइप तो नहीं है, चलता है टाइप एटीट्यूड नहीं है, जो कि मुझे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स में मिलता है. घर के तरफ कैसी जिम्मेवारी है आपकी, बाहर सोसाइटी के लिए कैसी जिम्मेवारी है, सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वालिटी आ जाती है. फिर आ जाती हैं क्वालिटीज के आपका जो है डिटर्मिनेशन कैसी है, विल पावर, डिटर्मिनेशन. ये क्वालिटीज मतलब मुश्किल में कैसे आप कोप अप करते हैं, एबिलिटी टू ओवरकम डिफिकल्टीज ये किस लेवल की है, करेज जो है किस लेवल का है, both physical and moral and even in terms of mental aspects. ले दे के हाँ ये कुछ है जो आपकी कोर क्वालिटीज हैं. इससे आपकी पर्सनालिटी डिटरमिन होती है और ये चीजें अगर आपकी एडिक्वेट मेजर में हैं तो फिर आपका सिलेक्शन होना चाहिए फौज में क्या कहीं भी, बिकॉज दीज आर important qualities a person should have in adequate measure. I hope the question has been answered adequately, Yogita. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Dominic Paul has asked, sir, how past political life in college days, let's say a part of being students union, impact SSBs? Is it a poor thing, or we should not have been indulged in politics that is not fit for joining army?
देखिए ऐसा नहीं है। एक जो है ना, मैं बहुत क्या कह सकता हूँ, आपकी एक बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत है सोसाइटी की हमारी, कि हमें हर चीज एसएसबी के एंगल से दिखती है। कि मैंने फुटबॉल में लात मारी, तो ये लात मैंने कितनी तेज मारी, इसका एसएसबी में क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा? अरे घंटा इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा यार, तूने लात कैसी मारी थी। तो अब आप ये देखिए, अब स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स की बात करते हैं। अब स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स में कितने तरह के लोग आएंगे? अब एक आएंगे जो हैं, जो मतलब मेरी नॉलेज में दिखते हैं, जैसे लोग आए कन्हैया कुमार और उमर खालिद जैसे लोग। अब ये लोग जो हैं, ये अपने एकेडमिक फील्ड में कॉम्पिटेंट हैं, इनकी नॉलेज अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़िया है, और इनके पास एनर्जी है, और इनकी डिजायर है सोसाइटी को इन्फ्लुएंस करने की, अपने थॉट्स, अपने आइडियाज से, या कुछ चीजें इन्हें लगता है जो ठीक नहीं है सोसाइटी में, उनको रिजॉल्व करने के लिए। तो उस हिसाब से ये लोग जो हैं, ये पॉलिटिकल लाइफ में आते हैं। एक हुए जो रामनवमी पे तलवार घुमाने वाले, जिनकी मैं इनका बैकग्राउंड जानता नहीं हूं, बट आई कैन अज्यूम दैट 95% वुड हैव बीन एब्सोल्यूट वॉशआउट्स। इनकी पढ़ाई लिखाई जो है वो मतलब अंगूठा छाप से थोड़ी प्लस ही हो सकती है, क्योंकि कोई कॉम्पिटेंस वगैरह खास होगी नहीं। अब ये लगे हैं कि कोई जो मंदिर मस्जिद और इस तरह का जो है ना, गंद घोली जाए सोसाइटी में और प्रोमिनेंस गेन की जाए। तो ये एक दूसरे कैटेगरी वाले पॉलिटिशियंस आ गए, स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स वाले। जो ये हुआ, जो जेएनयू में पहुंच गए कि ये जो था मीट कैसे बन रहा था ईद पे और सब बड़ी के रामनवमी में, ये नहीं होना चाहिए। आई मीन फलाना दीपिका पादुकोण की पिक्चर बैन, फलाना बैन, इस तरह के ना, जो ये अब जो लगे ताजमहल के नीचे पता नहीं क्या था, और कौन सी ऑल द मंदिर मस्जिद इश्यूज और ऑल दोस थिंग्स। These are the rogue kinds of student politicians. इनकी सोसाइटी में जगह जो है, ढंग की जगह में कहीं भी इन्हें जगह नहीं मिलेगी, एक्सेप्ट कि आज के दिन में क्या हो गया हुआ है, जैसे ये अनुराग ठाकुर और कपिल मिश्रा बड़े बड़े नेता बनते जा रहे हैं, और जो है सोशल सैंक्शन भी है इस तरह की बेवकूफियों को, तो अब इनका स्कोप बढ़ गया है, इन्हें इंसेंटिव है ये काम करने का। तो ये इस कैटेगरी वाले हैं स्टूडेंट्स। तो जो पहले कैटेगरी वाले हैं, कन्हैया कुमार उमर खालिद टाइप वाले जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, और या पुराने अरुण जेटली वगैरह थे, इन तरह के स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिशियंस जो रहे हैं, इन्होंने सोसाइटी में अच्छा इन्फ्लुएंस किया है। इनके कामों से कोई मतलब बुराई नहीं होने वाली। दिस वुड हैव एडेड टू देयर पर्सनालिटी, इट्स अ गुड थिंग। तो कोई टैबू नहीं है स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स में होना, या किसी तरह की पॉलिटिक्स में होना, बिकॉज आफ्टर ऑल व्हेन यू स्टैंडिंग फॉर एनी इलेक्शन, इवन अगर आपका हाउस कैप्टन, हेड बॉय, या जो है सब सेक्रेटरी, ट्रेजरर, स्कूल कॉलेजेस में जो अपॉइंटमेंट्स होते हैं उनके लिए आप खड़े होते हैं, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन दैट, इट्स अ गुड थिंग। The thing is that the people who are indulging only in these things, who are detached from academics, they are the ones which would be looked down upon, and rightly so. And this would be quite apparent to their colleagues, their friends, their parents, everyone. So this distinction which I am trying to make would be quite obvious. So there can be people who would be benefiting from indulging in the student politics, and those who would be the rogues, who would be channelizing their energies, who are not interested in actually in studies and have got time to waste. So they are wasting their energies in this manner. And today some of them are, gaining prominence. उनको भी अपना थोड़ी ग्लोरी मिल जाती है बेवकूफी के काम कर करके. So that is the kind of thing. And that nobody in the society would appreciate, and including SSB. I hope the question has been adequately answered, Yogita.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
move to the next question.
Yuvraj Singh Best is asking, sir, how to develop fighting attitude uh, in in ourselves for the
Fighting,
SSB fighting attitude.
fighting attitude. नहीं, ये फाइटिंग एटीट्यूड मैं नहीं समझता नहीं हूँ. आई वुड टेक इट दैट द पर्सन इम्प्लाइज, जैसे काफी ये किलर इंस्टिंक्ट वगैरह की बात की
हाँ,
जाती है.
ऐसे ही ऐसे ही.
तो ये किलर इंस्टिंक्ट का मैं आपको बताता हूँ, ये किलर इंस्टिंक्ट से मैं बहुत इससे डील करता रहा हूँ इस इशू से, क्योंकि जो था ये मुझे ही हमेशा बताया क्या कि मेरे में किलर इंस्टिंक्ट नहीं है. Though I was involved in a sport like boxing, tennis, so you can take it comparatively a softer sport. And I was told repeatedly कि तुम्हारा killer instinct नहीं है. And what killer instinct people were trying to explain to me were things like कि जो आदमी पॉइंट के लिए झगड़ा करता है, मौका मिलने पे बेईमानी करता है. और ओके, आई विल गिव लाइक एग्जांपल्स के ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेटर्स से एक टाइम में दे यूज्ड टू बी द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड, बट देयर कॉन्डक्ट वाज एक्चुअली अनस्पोर्ट्समैन लाइक. मतलब रिकी पॉन्टिंग शॉन्टिंग की जब टीम सबसे जीत जाती थी और रिकी पॉन्टिंग ने अगर कैच पकड़ा है स्लिप में और वो कह रहा है कि ये जो है मैंने बिल्कुल सही पकड़ा और बिल्कुल वो क्लेम करने जा रहा है, देयर कुड बी आई वुड से चांसेस कि इसने जमीन से उठा ली होगी बॉल. तो ये जैसे मैराडोना ने हाथ से गोल मारा था, वो ही वाज द हीरो फॉर एंटायर अर्जेंटीना. तो इन चीजों को जो है ये थोड़ी बहुत बेईमानी कर लेने वगैरह को और इस तरह से रूल्स को बेंड करने के लिए फॉर पर्सनल सक्सेस एंड टीम सक्सेस एंड व्हाटएवर was considered as killer instinct. That's what I could understand the definition, and I have always been against it. As far as I am concerned, जो ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्रिकेट टीम करती थी वो बेईमानी थी, जो मैराडोना ने किया था वो बेईमानी थी, and that is how I look at it, and I don't subscribe to any such behavior. So this is all nonsense. Killer instinct ये जो है, this definition is all nonsense. What you have to do is, as a soldier, you got to do a job, and once you do a job, you do it professionally. And similarly, in the sporting field, you do a job professionally. You play the game well, and that's it. And if you win, good. If you don't win, well, you respect your opponent. Like a very good example, I remember of Virat Kohli. When we lost a very critical match to Pakistan. And thereafter, Virat Kohli complimented the Pakistani team for performing very well. That's the kind of, behavior I would subscribe to. That's the sportsman-like behavior. And he's a good sportsman and he has good fighting spirit, but not this so-called killer instinct, which takes you to the fringes of rules, regulations, and you would try to push the boundaries of those things. Getting out of the rules which have been made. So that kind of thing I don't subscribe to, but trying your best till the last. Someone like what Nadal does is something which is good fighting spirit, and the Maradona and Ponting kind of spirit is not what I consider as good fighting spirit. I hope the answer is adequate, and my apologies to any Maradona fans or Ponting fans, but this is my view about these people. Thank you.
Pulkit Mins had asked, as you said, sir, SSB is all about personality. So, what if what is the common thing that every candidate should be aware of, except English?
This question, Yukta, you have taken this question, but it's not clear. I mean, how do I answer?
Okay. There are others also who are asking
क्या
unclear
क्या जानना चाह रहा है? If you have interpreted
common.
correctly.
I interpreted it as for common to all candidates. What are the prerequisites?
अच्छा, कॉमन टू ऑल कैंडिडेट। यार आपका ये मैं कितनी बार बोलता रहता हूँ। चलो, लेट मी नॉट गेट impatient. See, things are very simple. If you are a student, you should be a good student. And whatever it encompasses, that means your academic ability should be good. So that's one thing. And thereafter, you should have good general awareness or decent general awareness and decent or good physical fitness. Apart from that, what can, if these things are okay, some people still may not make the cut. Very rare few would be that socially they're not okay people. Rarely that happens, but there are people like that. So that could be one reason. And similar thing is there, if you are a working professional, then you should be a good worker. And these other qualities which I said, the aspects of general awareness and physical fitness are applicable because it's a requirement of defense services, and the aspect of sociability. These are the things. So there's nothing very complicated about it. So once again, I'll repeat: if you are a student, be a good student, have good GK, good physical fitness. If you are a worker, be a good worker, have good GK and good physical fitness. That would be good enough. Thank you.
Raju Bana wants to hear from you only. He said, "Do not answer me. I was trying to answer his questions." Sir, I am a working professional. Should I try for CDS entry or TGC entry?
Okay. Yeah, this is a good question. And I would like to answer it, and it is relevant to a lot of people. See, if you do an analysis, you will find that very rare cases, or let's not get into the statistics. If you just check out, you will know that the selection rate is highest for NDA entry and for CDS entry, because these two written examinations, as far as the defense services are concerned, are comparatively more difficult. I would rate NDA as the toughest, and then the CDS IMA. So it is not that that the people who are coming through these entries, the yardsticks of selection are lowered. That is not so. It is just that the people who clear these examinations have crossed a basic minimal threshold of academic competence. And related to the answer which I was giving earlier, that shows that their reasoning ability, understanding of academics, language abilities, they uh, are better than a certain basic minimal threshold. So going through the CDS entry helps you in that. It gives you a check, on a reality check for yourself, that you are capable of clearing this exam. Now, in case in your specific case, the person who's asked this question, you can easily clear this exam and you have that basic academic capability. It does not matter whether you go through the CDS entry or you go through the TGC entry, your chances of selection would be equal, would be identical. One slight difference comes in that the number of people reporting in entries like SSC Tech and TGC is going to be far more than it is going to be for CDS entry. So to that extent, in the screening process, there could be problems. And if a person is somewhat mild-natured and not very assertive, but quite competent to be selected, there are chances that such a person may get screened out. So once again, coming to your specific case, in case your language is very good and by nature you are quite an assertive person, your chances of getting screened in would be good. But if you are mild natured, very soft spoken, not very assertive, then it would be better to go through the CDS entry where the number of people reporting would be lesser and chances of screening would be better. So once you got crossed the stage one, the chances of selection would be absolutely same. So I hope I have been able to answer you adequately as to which entry you should go for. Generally speaking, I advise all people, as all aspirants who are eligible to write these exams, to write these exams and try and go through these entries, primarily because it helps their chances of getting screened in. That's one thing. And they get a reality check of their academic competence that they are above a basic minimal threshold. I hope the question has got adequately answered, Yogita.
Yes, sir. Many will be benefited. Sir, Vishav Kishore has asked, is criteria for selection for legal post in the Air Force or the Armed Forces is different? How do assessors gauge the level of competency in legal subjects when they themselves are not experts?
Okay. See, you see what happens. Uh, Invariably, the questions as far as your legal knowledge would get posed only by the interviewing officer. The GTO will not ask you such things. A GTO may pose for JAG entry. They may give topics like, uh, uh, holding in abeyance of the Sedition Act and triple talaq and such like things. Uh, Invariably, what would happen, if you talk to your parents or anybody in the your faculty in colleges and all, those who are knowledgeable and fairly well-read people, they may be working in fields other than law, maybe political science, maybe even history, or any XYZ subjects. So any citizen who is well aware would be having decent knowledge of aspects related to law which are there in the public domain, which are of interest, like today's sedition law is being talked about. So it is there in public knowledge. Things like how human rights violations have taken place, or what happened with the bulldozers in Jahangirpuri and all that. So aware people by their basic general awareness would know कि ये चीज लीगली ठीक थी नहीं थी या क्या था, क्या सही होना चाहिए था, आर्टिकल 370 जो हटा दिया गया ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल था नहीं था, ये जो है आपकी जो है इंटरनेट सस्पेंड कर दिया जाता है ये वैलिड है कि नहीं है, ये यूएपीए कैसे लगा दिया जाता है, तो टू दैट एक्सटेंट फार्म लॉज कैसे बनी, ठीक थी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल थी नहीं थी, कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में क्या इम्प्लीकेशंस है, people like the interviewing officer and the GTO, they would have a fair idea. So your assessment that these people may not be knowing about these things would be wrong. They would be having a decent idea about law, the things which are there in the current domain, which are being talked about, and issues of economics, like अभी ये कर दिया गया है ban on exports of wheat and all that, उनको implications पता होंगी इन चीजों, ठीक? So you should not be overly worried about that. The people who are there to assess you, they are adequately competent and qualified to interview you and assess you to get a fair, to make a, a good, or rather good word I use karunga, uh, an objective assessment of the candidates who they are assessing, and that is why they have been placed to do this responsible job, which, to the best of my knowledge, they do it responsibility and quite well. So do not get overly worried. They are competent enough to ask you questions and analyze your answers as well. Thank you.
We will take a last question. Andrea has asked, Sir, what we know from your book, The Practical Guide to Become an Officer, that we know once we are ready, the axe thing that you talked about. We are ready when the axe is ready, and we have to sharpen it. She wants some clarity on what you wrote in your this thing, the book. Sir, you always said that we have to work on ourselves for SSB and life, but when we know that we are ready to ace sharpening our axe, that thing.
थोड़ा question में confusion है. Anyway, the sharpening of the axe is something which is an ever-growing process. We can, you and I both can always get greater clarity in our thinking, greater clarity in our oral and written expression, and similarly in the field which we are working. So we can keep doing that. This, in simple words, is sharpening of the axe. So this is an ongoing process and which we should keep doing. So that is one. Now, the other thing what I can gather from your question is that once you have been working systematically to improve upon your academic knowledge, your language, your physical fitness, your general awareness, and you feel that you are now fit for selection, you feel that way, and you get the check from the written exams and the speaking to others and all, you feel you are in a good enough condition, you can still go on improving. There is no end to that because there is no limit to human improvement. But once you feel confident, then you should attempt SSB, go for it confidently, and hope for the best. That should be the outlook. And in case you are feeling that there are serious shortcomings in your own eyes as far as your overall competence is concerned, then it would make sense not to rush into SSBs, but to hold on, improve yourself in whatever aspects are needing improvement, and then go for SSB confidently, rather than using SSBs like a lottery ticket, but like going once and clearing it. I hope this should suffice the answer, Yogita.
Yes, sir. She mentioned about the practical guidebook, so I asked if at all. We can take the rest questions. The rest, most of the questions are related to eligibility criteria. We do not have this government PDF every time with us to check your eligibility criteria. Please go on the government websites, authentic PDF files from the government stating the eligibility criteria regarding age and all. Please write it in correct English format wherever you are writing your questions, so that you understand what has been asked. And and for any specific doubts that are unanswered, please write to us at nofrillsacademy@gmail.com.
I will just add one more thing. In case you have problem expressing your thoughts clearly in English, you can ask your questions in Hindi. Yogita and I are both competent in understanding our Matrabhasha. We have no problem. And we will be able to take your questions and answer them. And I think it will be very much applicable to the ACC and SU entry aspirants who I am, when I speak to some of these aspirants, they have been following our question and answer session very religiously. तो प्लीज आप हिंदी में अपने सवाल पूछिए, कोई घबराने की बात नहीं है, हम उसको समझ के आपका इत्मीनान से जवाब देंगे। हमारा एजेंडा यही है कि आपके सवालों के आपको जवाब मिल जाएं और आपके मिसकंसेप्शन दूर हो और आप अच्छी तरह से प्रिपेयर करके सक्सेसफुल हो पाए एसएससी में। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.